guys, it's Angela, and today I'm going to be doing my first book haul of the new year. So before I get into the video, I do sort of want to apologize in advance for the quality of my voice. It's sort of going in and out and being raspy because my tonsils are enlarged. So yeah, I can't help it, and I'm sorry if there's points during this video where it just gets really crappy. So yeah, I've got 13 books to haul today. Some are from Book Outlet, some are from friends, and the rest are books I bought, so let's get into it. So first let's talk about the books that I got from Book Outlet. And the first two are The Last of August and The Case for Jamie by Brittany Cavallaro. And these are books 2 and 3 in the Charlotte Holmes series. Now this series follows the great-great-great-grandchildren of Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, and their names are Charlotte Holmes and Jamie Watson. And they meet at this prestigious school and essentially begin solving crimes together. So yeah, that's like the watered down version of what this series is about. And I was so excited to see that books 2 and 3 were on Book Outlet, and I'm super excited to read them. The next book we have is Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This is about our main character, Mila, who's a high school student, and some of her friends have recently died in what was said to be a suicide pact, but she doesn't believe that, and she thinks that it could be murder. So she raises them from the dead to figure out what happened, and so I guess you could say they're sort of like zombies. Like, this is definitely like paranormal. I don't know how like zombie-ish it's going to be, but I'm really excited for it, and I love the cover, and it's just, yeah, it just sounds like spooky and sort of fun, and I've never read anything like with people coming back to life, so that's really interesting, and I'm really excited to read it. Next up we have Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Austin Seidman Broca, and I believe that these two authors are husband and wife. And this story follows our main character, Megan, who every time that she falls in love with someone, they just end up liking someone else. So that's like a big bummer, but instead of focusing on that, she decides to put her energy into something else and join the theater. And her school is going to be performing Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, and she gets cast as Juliet. And during that time, she starts to like someone else in the cast. And that's really all I know. I'm really excited though, because I love Shakespeare and I love Romeo and Juliet. So to read about a bunch of high schoolers performing the play, it makes me really excited. Next up, The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. Now, I've actually already read this book. I read this book in 2019, but when I saw it on Book Outlet, I just really wanted to get it. And this is about our main character, Hal, who is really cool. I really like her. She reads tarot cards, and she sort of doesn't really have a lot of money, but she's like doing the best she can. And then she gets a letter saying that her grandmother has passed away and she's inheriting this huge like gothic mansion. And she's sort of like, who is this woman? Like, she doesn't even know who it is. But then she's also like, my living situation sucks, so let's go. So she goes, and there she meets a whole bunch of family members who she's never met before, and it ensues from there. This story is really like dark and it has like a very like gothic spooky vibe, which I really loved. I mean, you can sort of like tell by the cover, like that's some spooky aesthetic. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and when I saw it, I had to get it. And the last Book Outlet book that I have is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and this is actually the last Riley Sager book that I have to read. I've already read the other two. So when I saw this, I was super excited. Also, when I picked it up today, I kind of noticed that the pages are like super yellow. Like, you can see, like, that's some mac and cheese yellow. So yikes about that. But anyway, this is an adult thriller following our main character, Emma. And years ago, Emma was staying at a camp, and she was in a cabin with a bunch of friends, and they were playing the classic game, Two Truths and a Lie. And after they played that game, Emma went to bed while her friends sort of left the cabin, and from there, they were never seen from or heard of again. That was it. So now, years into the future, Emma is still dealing with that trauma, and To cope with her trauma, she paints, and she tends to hide the girls in the paintings, which I think is super cool. And so years later, the camp that she stayed at is now reopening, and she gets asked to go there and I think like teach art. And then she stays in the cabin that she stayed in when she was a child. And yeah, she sort of like uncovers stuff from there, and it sounds really, really cool, and I'm really excited for it. So these next 3 books were surprises from friends, and the first is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. And my friend Austin sent this to me, and I'll have his channel linked down below. He's super sweet, love him so much, and I was so happy that he would send me his favorite book. And I don't know much about this book, but what I do know is that it's about twins who used to be incredibly close and now they're not. And so you're reading from, I believe, both of their perspectives and finding out what happened to them and where are they gonna go from here. And I love contemporaries like this, so I'm super excited to read it. The next book is Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray, and this was sent to me by my friend Boston. And this is the second book in the Diviners Quartet. And I loved The Diviners. It's definitely one of my favorite books, and I know I'm gonna have to reread it before I read this. But The Diviners is set in New York in the Roaring 20s, and I'm not even sure how I would describe it. Like, some people say it's kind of horror, but I kind of just found it more spooky. But it has to do with these teens, and they have abilities, and it's just really dark, and I love it so, so much. The audiobooks are fantastic, so I'm so excited to pick this up in the near future. The last book I have from a friend is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So if you saw my birthday book haul, I did mention this book, like I put a little picture up of it, because Cindy tried to buy this for me for my birthday, and it never came. So when I put it on my wish list, I didn't realize that I listed it from a third-party seller who was a scammer. So yeah, she paid for the book, whatever, and then the book never came. And I was like, that's no big deal. Like, honestly, it's the thought that counts, and I appreciated her, you know, attempting to send me a book anyway. But then our dear Cindy took matters into her own hands and purchased it and then just mailed it from me to her. In the note, she says, "Here's the latest birthday gift ever. A feeble attempt to redeem myself. I can no longer trust the evil corporation Amazon and had to take matters into my own hands." So thank you, Cindy. And this book is Leigh Bardugo's first adult book. And I know that it's like super duper dark, which I'm so excited for. And it's set in a college, which, being a college student, really appeals to me. I know there's like ghosts and an occult, and that's all I know. And honestly, that's all I want to know. The next book is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. And this is about 2 best friends, Emily and Sloane. And Sloane would always pull Emily out of her shell and get her to do adventurous things. But then Sloane goes missing, and behind she leaves a to-do list of 13 things that definitely would push Emily out of her shell that she wants her to do over the summer. So this book is about her doing those things, getting pushed out of her comfort zone. I'm not really sure if her friend comes back. Don't know what the deal with that is, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to find out. The next book is You Can't Make This Up, Life Lessons by Kevin Hart. So I was at Barnes & Noble and I saw this in the very discounted section, and I picked it up because I'm starting a new series on my channel, and I don't really want to get into what that's about because I still want to sort of keep the suspense, but I figured that this book would be perfect to include within it. And yeah, I really like Kevin Hart. I think he's really funny. Love that there's dogs on the cover. That was a cute touch. And I'm really interested in the wisdom and the comedy that will hopefully come from this book. The next book I have is Tim Burton, the iconic filmmaker and his work by Ian Nathan. And I love Tim Burton's films. So when I saw this at Barnes & Noble, I was super excited. So it's sort of like a coffee table type book. And each chapter goes over like his different movies. And yeah, I'm really excited to flip through this eventually. I've said this before on my channel, but I love like coffee table sort of books like this. And the last book I have isn't even actually sort of like a real book. It's the Handbook for the Recently Deceased, and it has like some words inside. Like it has like all these different like publication dates starting at 1620, the first printing, and the latest printing in 1938. And this is from the movie Beetlejuice, which is one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite musicals. And I got this as a Christmas gift, and I love it so much, and I think it's just really cute on my shelves. So yeah, so those are all the books that I've recently acquired. I was kind of thinking of doing one of those videos where you hold up all of your unread books as well. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in, like a video of my own TBR. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.